Hi guys, my name's Ian and welcome to my review of the Kbear KS1. Right, so this is the Kbear KS1 as you can see here, and it's currently retailing for $16 US. And I'd like to thank Keephifi for sending this out to me in exchange for an honest review. Right, so it comes in this box like this, and very typical Keephifi box, right? You got some specs at the back. It's basically a single dynamic driver, 10mm dynamic driver PET diaphragm. It's got an impedance of 16 ohms, a sensitivity of 109, and a frequency response of 20 to 20,000 kilohertz. Now, previously, they came in two colors, the black and a white. And the reason why I am reviewing this is because recently they came out with the third color, which is clear. All right, so as you can see here in my hands, I do have the clear IEM. All right, so the clear shell is really nice. You can see the dynamic driver right inside. Okay, really nice. Okay, so let's just see what it is in the box it comes with. Basically, the IEM is here, sitting here, and on the inside they do give you some tips. Right, so this is the ear tips that it comes with, a pretty normal bore type of ear tips. Okay, it comes in three sizes, small, medium, and large, and you get a warranty card. Okay, and of course it comes with the cable. The cable that it comes with is also pretty standard 8-core braided cable in black. Okay, and it's got a plastic Y splitter right here with a plastic chin slider. Okay, so pretty standard affair here. And the ear hooks is also plastic. It's got the memory hook right here. Okay, and it comes in the 2-pin 7.78mm 2-pin, and in this the TFZ type of connectors. Okay, so yeah, so on the IEM itself, you can see it's got the 2-pin connector right here. The shell in the front is made of plastic or resin. Inside you can see is the 10mm dynamic driver. Okay, pretty nice and clear. It's got this grayish type of color to it. It's not totally transparent, though they say it's clear, but it's got this grayish tint to it. Okay, and then on the inside, okay, let me just take the nozzle out, the tip. All right, the inside is a brass nozzle, as you can see, and the brass nozzle is pretty wide. It's not the narrow type of nozzle. Okay, and the angle of it is pretty good as well. Okay, so it's a pretty nice IEM. Standard is the same as the previous one. There's no change. So it's a 10mm dynamic driver. Now, in terms of comfort, they feel very comfortable on my ears. I don't feel any physical fatigue when I'm wearing them, and they are really snug without the fin. Right, as you can see, it fits my ear very comfortably, and I feel that this type of shell is a very good shell to wear, and I do feel that it's very comfortable. I can wear this the whole day and I don't feel any pain, or it doesn't hurt my ears. Okay, but okay, so how do they sound? Now, in terms of tuning, these IEMs are V-shaped, so elevated bass and elevated treble. But yeah, it's a very typical tuning, a V-shaped tuning. So if you like this type of tuning, this is a very solid V-shaped tuned IEM. On a whole, I feel that this IEM is a very comfortable listening IEM to go to if you just want to enjoy your music. If you're not a critical listener and you just want to listen to your music, enjoy your music, put it in your EDC, in your everyday carry bag. This is the IEM to go for. I mean, as I mentioned, it's $16 US. It's cheap. You can just throw it in your bag, and if you need to listen to your music on the go, this is the IEM to go for. Okay, for sub bass is very deep, very rumbly, it's very extended. It's not as controlled as some other IEMs. In fact, they do bleed over to the mids, but you can hear that rumble, you can feel that rumble is warm. It's got a very warm type of rumble, and the tone and the texture of it is really warm. It carries a very heavy note weight as well. So for bass heads and you like that rumble and that brain massage, this is the IEM to go for. Now the mid bass is also impactful, it's punchy, it's I wouldn't say oomphy, okay, it's not bloated, all right, so but you can feel that impact, that warm punchy impact of the mid bass. So it's impactful, the note weight is heavy as well, so this is a very good bass head IEM. As for the mids is a little bit recessed, so as I mentioned, it's V-shaped tuning, so the mids is a little bit laid back, but though the tone and the timbre is still pretty good, it's warm, the instruments, they sound a little bit recessed in terms of the whole frequency itself, so you won't feel much presence of the instruments in the entire track. For example, the pianos, the violins, the trumpets, they do sound a little bit behind the drums and the bass guitar and things like that. So the vocals, they do sound warm and they have good tone and good texture and good timbre as well, but again, male vocals, they sound laid back, and but they sound warm, okay, they sound warm and it's easy to listen to. So I wouldn't say that, you know, it's not as forward as I would hope, but you know, they do give me that presence and that easy listening type of experience. The female vocals, they don't sound as sparkly as I hoped, but they don't sound sibilant and they don't sound shouty as well. So I think for female vocals, they do carry that warm tonish type of sound as well. For certain tracks, they do carry some authority as well, but you know, again, it's laid back, it's not as forward, it's not as present in some tracks as I hope for. But you know, if you're just going for the bass, you know, this is the IEM. You wouldn't go for the vocals for this IEM. For treble, yeah, I would say the treble is pretty controlled, it extended as well, but you know, it's not sparkly, it's not bright, okay, it's not a bright IEM, but then again, as I mentioned, you know, they are not sibilant, so you won't feel fatigueness when you're listening to these IEMs. So you can feel free to listen to any songs in terms of the treble. You don't have to worry about the sibilance. But I would say that the treble is a little bit grainy. That part is, you know, for the technicalities of these the driver, but it's got nothing to do with the treble. But you can feel in terms of certain songs, certain tracks, especially those tracks that are poorly recorded, they are not very forgiving for those poorly recorded tracks, and you can hear that graininess of that track. For soundstage and imaging, I would say soundstage is pretty okay. Standard soundstaging is not a very wide soundstage, and the room is not a very big room as well. I would say maybe a recording studio type of soundstage. The layering is pretty okay, maybe just 1 or 2 layers, and the depth of the soundstage is not as far as some other IEMs I've tried before. Vocals are behind, and you can hear the drum sets in front, so imaging in terms of the instruments, they're on the sides, to the wide of the sides, pretty far out, okay, and also we've got some height to the soundstage as well. Imaging and pinpointing of the instruments are pretty okay. I wouldn't say the sound separation is good. You still can identify where the sound is coming from, but the imaging and the sound separation is, I would say, just okay, right? Detail retrieval and resolution is okay as well. It's not the most detailed IEM. I mean, for $16, I wouldn't expect this to be the most detailed IEM. You can hear, again, I mentioned earlier, some graininess to certain songs, and the resolution of it is pretty subpar, okay? But I would say it's acceptable, okay? And especially if you're listening to EDMs, you're mostly listening to the bass, so you're not looking out more on that detail and the resolution of that track. Okay, so on the whole, I would say these IEMs are suitable for listening to electronic music, heavy metal, those bassy type of songs, and also pop songs, right? So if you are listening to your everyday song, pop songs, these IEMs are pretty reasonable and suitable for that purpose. And then if you are on the go, if you've got no IEM with you, and this happens to be in your bag, you know, keep a spare in the bag. This is a good IEM for that purpose, okay? And by the way, the gear that I use to test these IEMs is no longer the HipDeck 2 if you watch my previous videos. So I got myself the iFi Zen Deck version 2, right? So this is the brand new one which I got, and now I'm using this gear as my test gear. At the same time, I'm using my iPhone to connect directly without any DAC to my iPhone to test these IEMs as well. So in terms of scalability and the technicalities of these KS1, it's pretty okay. It's not as scalable as other IEMs, but for $16, you know, don't expect it to be as versatile and scalable as other IEMs. But yeah, in terms of the listening experience, I find myself enjoying my music more than critical listening. So if I want to enjoy my music, this is the IEM that I go to just to relax, drink my coffee, and enjoy the music without any thoughts. Right, so this is my view of the Kbear KS1. If you guys learned something from this video, do consider to subscribe and click on the bell button so that you get notified of my future videos. Right, so I thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you again in my next video. Cheers.